The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
This week's episode of PSVG Prime has been brought to you by the amazing Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/PSVG. But special shoutouts to Edwin Callow, Barry Cathcart, Josh Barboni, Chris M, Devin Tyus, Paul Calicote, Kyle Heyman, Benny Lou, and Joel Voss, the Professor Switch. A big thank you to all of our supporters, of course, whether Patreon or not. But if you are a Patreon supporter, you do get some cool exclusive benefits, like episodes of PSVG DLC and the newly reformatted Arcadia Academia, Kevin Hates Everything, and now even Bored with Everything, which I appeared in the most recent episode. Thank you very much. As well as being entered into our monthly Patron of the Month giveaways. Current offerings include $20 to Apex Legends, which will get you a great jump start on Season 3 and the Halloween event, $20 to the eShop of your choice, or one of the spiffy new PSVG hats. To get in on all the action and help support us, head on over to patreon.com/PSVG. But I will not hold up this very special episode, episode 200 of PSVG Prime. Now, on with the show. Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of PSVG Prime, the flagship show of the Play Some Video Games podcast network. This is episode 200. Now you might say 200 is a great thing. You might say 200 is a milestone. Or you might be some jerks on the internet who say 200 is not a big deal. We've done way more than that, Kevin. Well, then I say to you, this actually, is episode 200 of this show. This is the 617th podcast production from this network since we were started 3 years ago. So that is something. I don't care what you say. So poo-poo to you, haters. It is I, your host, Kevin. With me this week is not Lucas. He's taking the week off because he's got a special project coming up next week's episode. But with me is coming off her ivory tower, the NintenDame herself, Caroline from the Nintendo Shack. How are you?
Ivory tower? What does that mean?
You rarely come off of the Nintendo Shack because you don't talk anything but Nintendo. So
I see. Well, I'm playing more games other than Nintendo. I'm playing this kind of like MMO stuff that I'll talk about here in a minute.
Yes, we have questions about MMOs for sure, so that'll come up for sure. And making his, I think, 5th appearance, if not 6th. It's one of those.
Really?
Yeah, it's been a lot. You might know him, Food Network star, the hero of chefs and the chef of heroes, Justin the Wanderer Warner.
What's going on?
What's up, man? How are you?
Great. Happy 200th and 675th or what have you. I already forgot that.
We don't even pay attention either. Just somebody commented how 100 wasn't a big deal for Nintendo Shack a few weeks ago, and I'm like, well, we got 200, and even then, it's not just 200. It's a heck of a lot more than that.
That's insane.
Well, congratulations, like internet troll. You left your 600th dumb comment. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, you have your fair share of those. We saw one over the past couple days.
Oh, they love me so much.
They do.
Oh.
They do. So welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us again this week, Justin. Let's start things off doing what we do, and let's talk video games and what we've been up to. So being the guest of honor, Justin, we'll start with you, man. You came off of, like a year traveling the country in a Winnebago, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
To jet setting off to Japan for a month?
Yeah.
Give or take?
Oh.
And then
like
your feet hit the ground for all of like 20 minutes, and then you're rushing off to New York Comic Con.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go shoot grocery games on Thursday.
See? This is nuts.
That sounds like my kind of life.
Well, so obviously I've been playing a lot of Switch because it is the most portable system, and man, it's been such a godsend. And like being able to purchase Link's Awakening in Japan and get the Japanese cart, and it plays on my USA Switch and the whole 9 yards, and it's in English. I can just switch it right over. Like that was amazing. That just felt so magical. I don't know why, but I'll tell you, man, Link's Awakening was actually the very first Zelda game that I played. My grandparents gave it to me, and I want to say 1992 or 93. and they gave me a Game Boy at the same time, and they were just like, all right, we're going to be traveling around for some of the summer, like, play this, and I was young, man. I didn't even know what I was getting into with Zelda games. I couldn't have been more than 8 or something. And so I remember, man, I get stuck in a dungeon with my 8-year-old mind, and I was mowing through cereal for some reason, because this cereal would come with a phone, like a long distance phone card, and I would use that to call the Nintendo helpline.
Yeah. God, that's amazing.
So I'd have like 5 minutes, and I'd be like, all right, lady, cut to the chase. I'm stuck in the Catfish's Mall, or whatever.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And like, meanwhile, I'm so regular. Like, I've been eating so much Raisin Bran. My parents are like, what's wrong?
So regular. That's amazing. So cool.
Anyway, so that game was super special to me, and I really appreciated the interpretation. I also think it's such a great remake for Switch, given the portability. And so I kind of feel a ton of nostalgia for that game, because, one, being in like Japan, the home of Nintendo and the home of all of the great minds that brought you games like Zelda, and then also traveling as an adult and playing it in a handheld mode, man, and it's epic. So anyway, maybe I'm a little romantic for it. What else have I been playing? Dragon Quest, of course, in Japan is out of control. I was able to pick up that sick slime controller. Have you guys seen it?
Oh, you got
do you
that
really
thing?
own it now? Oh, man. I was considering it, but I can't put that much money down.
I just had to, and it was a little bit cheaper in Japan, obviously. And
Sure.
I don't know. Honestly, like, I just wanted good slime merch, because there's so much more of it there than there is here. And I was like, well, that's the best slime merch. Like, if you're going to own anything Dragon Quest related, and they had everything Dragon Quest. They had forks, like spoons. You could do your whole house in Dragon Quest if you wanted to. But yeah, I've been digging that. I played the PS4 version, got about halfway through, and then just had to move on to something else. But I've really been enjoying it, especially on planes. It's kind of like it's an easy, I'm not like getting frustrated at Dragon Quest, cramped in, main cabin select, or whatever it is. So yeah, man. What else have I been playing? Well, I went to Comic-Con. I got to see Iron Man VR up close and personal. I got to see Marvel's Avengers up close and personal. I didn't get to play either, but I got to say, hot stuff.
Nice.
Looks really good. Lots of smiles on the people coming out of the lines. Yeah, man. That, and I've been playing a lot of pinball. I got a pinball table. I don't know if that counts as a game, but
Of course it does.
It's retro.
Okay. All right, good.
That thing's gorgeous too, by the way. So you got it all set up now in the new house?
That's right. Kevin sent us a picture.
Yeah, I just got my absolute highest score, which is like 8,000. I know most pinball machines you expect like 80 million, but this only has like 4 reels. Tick, 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 tick. Yeah, so I got close to flipping it over. I don't know what happens. Like, am I Billy Mitchell at that point? I don't know.
It just breaks. You lost it.
I'm scared.
Yeah, it explodes. It explodes. So that's awesome. Yeah, so you did get to see, or at least see other people's reactions to Iron Man VR and Marvel's Avengers. So you feeling confident about those? I know there's been a lot of people are torn on the Avengers game a little bit as the looks, because it's not the MCU people, which I'm fine with, but some of the textures and stuff seemed off from the last trailers we saw at E3.
These are probably the same people that complained about missing puddles in Spider-Man, and we all know it was one of the greatest games of 2018. So in my humble opinion, I think coming off of the success of Spider-Man and being where Marvel is now, like in the world, I think they're going to do great. I've been playing, oh, come on. I'm sorry, it's late here. Marvel's, I'm such a bad
Ultimate
representative. Sorry, yeah, I've been playing Ultimate Alliance, and it's a beat 'em up game, but I played the original Ultimate Alliance for Wii, and it was like acceptable.
Yeah.
But this one is like fun and good, and it's just a beat 'em up, but the way you like combine powers and stuff like that, and just the way in which it's the game is shot, so to speak.
Yeah.
The camera control in it, and the artistic renderings and humor throughout, I think is great. And for what that game is. I am not worried. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm a fanboy, but at the same time, think about how many different artists in the comic book universe have drawn each of these characters, and how many different versions of each of these characters they've been. It's the people that their first interaction with Thor wasn't even in the Thor movies. It was in Avengers.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like D-list fans that make the most complaints, in my opinion. But, whatever. I'll probably get hate mail for that, too.
Fair enough.
Part of territory.
Yeah, exactly, right. So for me, what I've been playing, it's kind of the same old. Apex Season 3 is kicked off officially, so I've been tearing that thing up like crazy. The Halloween event starts actually tomorrow from when we're recording that, so I'm looking forward to jumping into that and getting some of the Halloween skins they have, like the different characters doing, like Dracula, Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
One of the characters looks like the Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz with the green face and everything like that, so it's going to be pretty cool.
That's
Yeah. Well, we'll get to Epic later. We'll talk about that too, for sure. We got to talk about that. Couple of games I'm doing for reviews. We got dumped a ton of games last week in our laps here, so I'm kind of trying to tear through as many as I can. One, Caro, I think you'd appreciate. It's called Little Big Workshop.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
This is on PC. It's done by THQ Nordic, and it's basically a combination if you put like those idle workshop games and The Sims together.
Oh, okay.
So the premise is you have this workshop that's on your tabletop, like it looks like it's actually sitting on a table, and you have these little factories of like these little people, and I don't mean like politically incorrect little people. I mean actual small people that are on the table, and they basically build furniture or wooden gnomes or electronics in a factory. And as you earn more money, you ship off the product, you sell it, you expand your factory, make it bigger and bigger. But you still need to take care of them, like food and break time. They need places to rest. Otherwise, they just kind of pass out on the floor, which is super dangerous.
Sounds just like The Sims.
Exactly. So it's pretty cool. I can't give opinions on it yet. I'm still under embargo until next week on that one. But another one I am playing that the embargo is up right now. So after this podcast, the end of this podcast attached to it is going to be an audio. This is coming out, I believe it's dropping on the Switch tomorrow. It's out already on Steam and everywhere else already. And it's weird. So you hate to use the term roguelike because everyone immediately rolls their eyes.
Yeah.
But this is done a little bit different from what I've had. This is a roguelike hack and slash. So think like Golden Axe almost, but they do it in kind of like an 8-bit format. So it's a top-down thing. You're dropped in a dungeon, and you have different characters. Like right away, you unlock a guy with a sword and shield, and his daughter has a bow and arrow, and you can use those two characters. But you unlock, the guy with the giant hammer like Thor, the wizards, and stuff like that. And you're dropped in dungeons, and every time you drop in, you run through, you get as far as you can, collect gold and power-ups as you can. If you die, you're brought back, and you use the gold to level up your characters. Better armor, better weapons, so on and so forth, as you kind of go through and continue to grind. I typically don't like roguelikes. I'm not huge on them. This one is a lot of fun. The voiceover acting is really good. And like I said, there'll be more details after the show, but I think this is one that a lot of people shouldn't sleep on. Excellent Steam reviews. I think it's 9 out of 10 on Steam right now, so people are digging this one. But Children of Morta coming to Nintendo Switch. It's on Xbox, PS4, and Steam already, so go out and get it. It's worth it. Listen to the review after this podcast.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it's fun. Caro, what have you been playing then?
I've been playing a game that you guys don't like to talk about here in Prime Land, so I'm not going to divulge much on it, but I have been still playing Fire Emblem Three Houses for it's been almost 3 months that I've continued playing at this game. So I'm midway through my Blue Lions route. I owe it all in part thanks to the amazing fan art that is out there of Dimitri, who's the Blue Lions prince, and the female main character, and it's delicious. I love it.
She's all about hardcore shipping these different characters, Justin. So
I ship it.
She
ship it.
Everything. Like she's.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that I was ready to get married to Tharja, and that was 2 Fire Emblem years ago, right?
Dude, she's some hot stuff. I still need to buy the statuette of her. It's maybe this tall, and she's leaning over the books like this, and
God,
it's good stuff.
I can see where you're coming from. I understand.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. But I won't get onto the Fire Emblem train because I know you and Lucas are, just what is this game? It's a Caro game. I've been playing.
I like combat. I want combat in my Fire Emblem. I don't want to have tea with my students. It's weird.
I got you.
Not appropriate.
But tea leads to other things.
Yes, and there's news stories about that every day. That's not appropriate. Students should not be.
They're literally the same, but they talk all the time. It's aren't you the same age as us? Why are you a teacher here? So it's what they neglect to tell you is that most of the students are adults already.
It's night school.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They're there to be knights. That's what it is. But I've been playing World of Warcraft, both retail and classic edition. Classic, I am maining a troll hunter right now, and the grind is real and very, very annoying. So I flip over to retail whenever I need a break. I caught an amazing spirit beast pet on my hunter on retail, and I talked about that on Nintendo Shack actually, where I just camped on one of the spawn points and it popped and I lost my mind and I was able to tame it before the people around me did. So I'm just kind of wandering around trying to kill the rare mobs and stuff for drops like rare mounts, and also just taming rare pets right now. So that's my WoW experience for the time being. It's kind of nice to dive in.
So for the noobs who may not be familiar, what's the difference between retail and classic?
Okay, retail is WoW of old that has still progressed. It's on its 7th expansion right now, which is Battle for Azeroth, excuse me. You can get up to level 120 with BFA if you've got it. Classic is going back to ground roots. So what launched, I think, back in 2004, they've gone back to everything that's post-cataclysm or pre-cataclysm, excuse me, that, you know, before the world changed and they added all these new things into it. So the grind's real. The level cap's out at 60. You know, you only have the original races. Oddly enough, they decided to use the same models and stuff, which going between classic and retail, the models are just absolutely horrendous. But it's the true classic experience. I can't complain about that. But, you know, going as a troll hunter in classic where you have to literally keep your pet fed in order to keep its loyalty up and keep it from running away to you, whereas there were improvements made down the line in WoW where it's like, maybe we shouldn't let these rare pets run away from them if they've worked so hard to actually capture them and keep them. So the food and the feeding system is null and void now. It's just completely gone.
But see, that teaches kids responsibility. You need to feed and take care of your pets. Otherwise, they'll leave.
Yeah, I suppose. But Cataclysm did bring a lot of good things to the table. But there are a lot of things that I like in classic WoW, which last time I played, which was before Cataclysm back in 2010, it was more that experience, and it's what I remember. So while I'm excited and happy that there are some quality of life improvements that I can play in the regular retail version, it is nice to go back to what I was used to back in the day.
Fair enough. Yeah. All right. That wraps up what we've been playing, so it's time to jump into the questions you folks sent, and you did not disappoint this week, so it's time to check out the messages.
Message for you, sir.
First one comes from Mr. Mark Moody. He says, congrats on hitting the big 200. My question is, what Marvel character that hasn't been used yet by Kevin Feige would you pitch to him to get put into the MCU? Now, Caro's going to roll her eyes a little bit. She is not a comic Marvel fangirl.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just I was thinking to myself, I was like, ooh, I know who. And then I realized she was DC. I love Poison Ivy. I really do. Poison Ivy is the bomb. And I really don't know Marvel comics like everybody else in PSVG land does. So
gotta know both. All right. So mine, I think will come actually to reality, and I don't want to say shortly, but soonish, because now they own the rights. I want to see Gambit, and I want to see Gambit done right. Not in the X-Men Origins, like 30-second cameo you had in that movie, because that was terrible. I want to see Gambit, and I want to see Gambit done right. That's my vote. We may see it with the new X-Men movies once they get around to that personally, but that would be my pick, hands down. He's my favorite X-Men. Throwing those cards, causing explosions. He's got the suave accent. You know, It's a lot of fun.
Bullshit. This is a little bit of a deep cut and kind of a troll pick, but Slapstick. Have you guys ever heard of Slapstick?
Oh my god.
I have no idea. but Kevin clearly does.
So Slapstick is he has the power of cartoons, kind of, for lack of a better term. So he can he lives as a cartoon in the human world, and he was a comedian. I want to say it was his origin story. And anyway, he kind of looks like a clown. And he kind of is a clown, but I just think that could present itself. I think it would be an opportunity for a very unique take on how mind-bending would that be in the MCU if they're interacting with like a 2D character. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what? I was honestly thinking of like the Riddler and mind-bending, and then you said how mind-bending would that be, and then I'm like, wait, that's DC too.
Yeah.
I know. People everywhere are just like, oh my gosh, she's terrible.
No, it's not terrible at all. But I just simply can't speak, you know?
No, I mean, Slapstick is great. That's a great pick, and that'd be a fun one. Like, you put Slapstick with like Howard the Duck. I could see them being together. Like, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think that they could stand to make Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, push the like humor aspect, like as far as I think they really tested how far they could go, especially and also like Thor Ragnarok, I thought was incredible,
hilarious. Yeah.
So I think honestly making a straight like comedy, a comedy hero movie. I don't know. You've got Howard the Duck, you've got Slapstick, you've got so many other characters that I think could be really funny and fun. I don't know. I want to see more of the like weird Marvel stuff.
Yes.
I think so many people say like, oh, name one Submariner, and like obviously every X person that's ever existed that everyone ever identified with, and but I think really like some of those weirder characters. I think also a Marvel monster movie could be pretty epic. Ooh. Like I'd love to see like Fin Fang Foom.
Yep.
But like maybe where it's like done a la kaiju, where like is he the monster? Is he the hero?
Work, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Plus,
maybe that's the man talking. I don't know.
No, it was Slapstick too. It had the Mercs for Money with Deadpool.
Yeah, totally.
So they could totally like introduce him somehow to the Deadpool and do it like it'll be like a R-rated version of Slapstick, but that could work too. Like
Deadpool is not considered MCU though, right? That's still Sony.
No, it's Fox. So now Disney technically owns them, but there hasn't been a new movie since them being owned. But
I see.
Yeah.
I got you.
So Disney said they're gonna let them still continue to do R-rated movies. So that'd be good.
What a mess.
Yeah. Untangling that's a mess for sure. So were you able to think of anybody in Marvel, Caro, or no? We're just gonna pass.
I like the X-Men series. So the reboot that they did of X-Men recently, the First Class, and then the other ones, I really like a lot of the characters, and I think that James McAvoy did a fantastic job, like his early professor. So I think that X-Men definitely needs to be integrated in there somehow. I think it got its own sort of side thing going on, but just at least cameoing, I'm sorry, I'm completely drawing a blank on what's her name, Jennifer Lawrence's character.
Mystique.
Yeah, Mystique, yes, or Magneto, or just having cameos at least by introducing them into the MCU. I think that would be a nice touch.
I think we'll see some of that. All right, so next question comes in from Devin Tyus. He asks, and Justin, you're gonna answer this one last.
Okay.
Could Justin Warner beat Bobby Flay? So Caro.
All right, I have to ask this. Do you own horses yet? Because he's gotten into the horse thing, and he's kind of gone up the ranks. He's gone from like being a cooking god to like taking over the entire world with horse racing. And
do you own horses?
I know the answer is probably no, but anyway. I haven't seen Bobby Flay in years, aside from when he's at the Derby and whenever he has a horse in the Triple Crown races. That's the only time I've seen him recently. I definitely think that Justin's like in his prime right now, and Bobby Flay is way past his prime, so he could totally do it. He could totally do it.
Bold. So
Flay the Flay.
Flay the Flay. So slay the Flay. Indeed. So Beat Bobby Flay is a show, Caro, if you're not familiar, where he basically takes on other chefs and the chef chooses what they're battling against.
I'm aware of it. Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure you knew that. I'm gonna say, and Justin may disagree, that yes, you could beat Bobby Flay, because in Beat Bobby Flay you would pick the dish, and I think if you had that advantage, you'd be able to take him on something that you could do substantially better than him.
I mean, we'll see. I did that show, and Damaris walloped me in the first round.
Yep.
That was the last time I was in Japan. I came back the next day. I'm not making excuses. But plenty of them. But anyway, my dish for that episode, had I made it to the Bobby round, would have been Scotch egg. Ooh. And yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I would have absolutely just put the hurt. Yeah. The thing about Scotch egg is like actually like it's unique because I feel like cooking like dishes are either very like flavor heavy, or very construction heavy, yeah, or like baking heavy, or just time consuming, right? And so this one is like you have to have the technique of like getting the egg cooked right. Like not everybody can just like make a softie like that. Yeah. Let alone getting that exterior material, be it sausage or what have you. I'm not revealing what cards I have up my sleeve. But that exterior protein coating is, that has to be fully cooked as well. So you not only then you have to deal with the fact that it's a construction, right? You have to get that protein to stick around the outside of the egg, be able to slice through it for presentation, and then call it a day. You know, it's an easy dish in theory, but it ain't that easy.
And here I am burning scrambled eggs. Hey, I like my eggs well done.
That's fine. I took a picture of a soft-boiled egg I had in Japan that was just like, you know, the easiest, most golden, beautiful, you know, gem ever. And someone like DM'd me. They're like, "How do you get eggs like that?" And I was like, "Make them 10,000 times." Like, so simple.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or go to Japan and buy one. Yeah. All right, next one's a softball here. Super NintenDad asks in the Discord, oatmeal cream pies or zebra cakes?
Oh my gosh.
Back to like your lunchbox school, treats that be tossed in there.
I gotta say, pre 10 years old, Caro would definitely say zebra cakes. But as I got older, I had a huge affinity for oatmeal cream pies. And just recently, there's this amazing place where we go to for burgers, but they also do shakes. And they have an oatmeal cream pie shake where they literally top it off with an oatmeal cream pie cookie in the top. And that was phenomenal. So I'm going to have to say oatmeal cream pie.
Okay. I'm in the same camp as you. I think zebra cakes, every once in a while it's okay, but it's way too sweet. I can't do it anymore.
Do you know the Christmas tree ones where they do just for Christmas tree? Yeah.
I mean, they do them like every holiday, like Valentine's Day is one. It's the same thing, essentially. They just change what the outside looks like in the shape. Yep. But yeah, zebra cakes are way too sweet for me now. Oatmeal cream pies all the way. I know, Justin, you're not a sweets guy, so this one might be.
I mean, no, oatmeal cream pie, hands down. I got them right in the closet. I can look at them from here.
Yeah, man.
If I need that sort of, like practically injectable caloric content,
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like absolutely no textural resistance whatsoever. Like honestly, it's as close to pre-chewed as food can be.
That is true.
Nothing to them. Like I feel like I could swallow one whole and like not choke.
Let's not try that. Let's not do that. But okay.
Maybe it will. We'll see. Anyway, I do like those. I actually experimented with incorporating them in some ice cream earlier this summer, simply because I think they're such a treat. And yeah, I like zebra cakes are for children. I think we all know this.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, so this one's a little bit heavier. So the softballs are out of the way now.
Uh-oh.
So Tom Servo asks in the Discord as well. Well, Blizzard currently is in the crosshairs at the moment with the cancel culture thing. Suspending a competitive player for supporting Hong Kong protesters. People are boycotting him now. They took away all of his earnings in Hearthstone for the year. Suspended him, which they backtrack on some of the punishment now. But he says, I've seen this happen before in other media, but with gaming, it never seems to stick. Like we see these controversies, gamers kind of get over them in a week or two. Does the outrage over a political or other stance from a publisher or developer ever come to mind when you're looking at your next game to purchase? So Blizzard does this. Do you look at something like Overwatch coming to Switch and say, nope, I'm not buying it because of this stance? Or do you just kind of get over it? Or is it short term until it dies down like a week or two later?
I'm still playing WoW. I feel bad. This is like the question. It's like I've already talked about how I'm playing WoW, and then we get this question. I try it. I'm just not. Politics is such a weird thing with me. I got into it for a little bit, and my husband wanted to be a politician at one point, and so we kind of have the same values insofar as that, but just ever since the 2016 election, it's just gotten so stale and so dry, and it's really just been more of a turnoff for me. So I kind of just turn politics off most of the time, especially when I'm playing my games. I'm just like, I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun. Mm-hmm. So I don't agree with their stance whatsoever. I think it's, I think what they've done is just absolutely ridiculous. But at the same time, it's not going to keep me from playing my games. I don't know. It's kind of like I don't agree with Chick-fil-A on their stance on gay marriage and stuff like that, but at the same time, I'm still gonna go eat a chicken.
You want some good chicken, right? Yeah. No, I'm with you, and I'm kind of in the same boat too. Now, like certain things. So this is a little bit different for me. When we see different studios have issues with maybe like sexual harassment or discrimination, something like that, that kind of annoys me a little more, and I might say I'm not buying this game because of this.
Right.
Versus something like this, where I think the people who made that decision at Blizzard had nothing to do with the development of an actual game.
Sure.
And we see so many studios getting shut down now, getting closed up because of game sales. I wouldn't want to punish those folks per se. Now, for me, there's nothing coming up in Blizzard that I'm like gung-ho and I'm like, oh, I'm getting this. This is my next game, so I'm okay here. But personally, like you, the political thing kind of gets sticky. Like, it's what right do game developers and studios have in politics? We'd rather keep them out of it, personally. So yeah, for me, I think it's something that people once again are going to blow over this pretty quick. It's not going to hurt Overwatch sales on Switch, I don't think at all. We're not going to see people boycott the Overwatch Halloween event because of it.
Right.
Stuff like that. It's going to be fine. I'm a little more wondering how things are going up at the corporate office for Activision. Like, are they putting pressure on Blizzard saying, what are you guys doing? Or were they the ones that pushed Blizzard? Who knows? Sure. I'm a little more interested in that political dynamic between Activision and Blizzard themselves. But for me, it's a crappy stance on their part. I agree with you there. But ultimately, if it was something I was interested in playing next, it probably wouldn't stop me from purchasing.
I have a question about this, and this may stir the pot and also show a little bit of my ignorance. Yeah. But correct me if I'm wrong. Kid won like a tournament, right? Mm-hmm. And then during the congratulations, you won, he's like, and by the way, I support Hong Kong protests.
Yeah, he's basically
yes, and he was wearing the gas mask that they were wearing too. Like he had that busted out, but he's like the Hearthstone champion for Blizzard. Like, he's won numerous tournaments this year, and they went took back all the money.
I mean, here's the thing: like, every contest has rules, right? And I would wager that those rules were delineated via a giant contract or something like that upon entering into this contest. If you know the rules and you intentionally break them, or you don't know the rules and you break them, but you said, hey, cool, I'm here to play by the rules. Like, I see it as, and this sounds like this is a horrible stance to take, I know, but siding with the man. But like, if you know the rules and you break them, okay, there are going to be repercussions. I don't know how that transaction happened, right? But I know that if I go on Food Network and I say whatever it is that I want to say, I mean, they will edit me out.
There's going to be some repercussions, yeah.
Right. Like, I'm doing a live event with Food Network within the next month or two. Spoiler alert. And like, if I get on there and do something completely ridiculous, I'm going to lose everything that I have. And saying my political allegiance should never be considered completely ridiculous. But the idea is that I know what I've signed up for. I've signed up for getting on there and cooking and doing my thing. So do I think that that a company should just like silence somebody after the fact that it happened? No. Do I think the guy should have done that during that point? No. Like, you have your own stream, I'm sure.
Right.
He can stream all he wants and do whatever he wants and probably be maybe a bigger champion, but maybe the controversy helped the cause.
That's true.
So I don't know where to like fall on this, but I'm always the kind of person who's like, I follow the rules if I know what the rules are, and that's it. And so like
lawful neutral, like me in D&D.
I mean, at least in those aspects. So like, I definitely 100% sympathize with the dude, and I sympathize with people that are outraged, and I do think that it was like an unfortunate, like, Blizzard definitely made some missteps in the handling of this. But at the same time, like, I just want to see if, like, where the rules were established and where they were broken and yada yada. Because, like, if you knew you shouldn't be doing this because that's not part of the game that you're playing, I don't know. If he was like grief or like, using cheat codes or something like that, like, right. He also knows he shouldn't be doing that as well, right? Sure. So anyway, I still got my NYXL hat on.
It's true.
It is ultimately the fact that you could be a grand champion of something, say something that I think was actually, in the grand scheme of things, not the most inflammatory thing. It's not like he was like, and by the way, I'm part of the KKK. See ya.
Right. Yeah. Apparently in the contract, the language was that you can't paint Blizzard in a negative light. So they're flexing their muscle, saying that by him doing that was painting Blizzard in a negative light. I don't know how, but that's what they were quoting, saying that was the violation in his contract, which I agree. Like you said, you got to know what you're signing up for and stay that neutral when you're representing them in something on television or in a contest or anything like that. I agree.
Right. I'm sure having 3 Chinese Overwatch teams doesn't hurt either.
That's true. So moving on to something a little more light, because somebody always has to bring this up. First one is a question, but it's more of a request for Caroline. Josh Barboni asks, Caroline, can you please verify that there are 2 people podcasting with you and that are not in fact in the same location or seem pre-recorded?
Well, it'd be pretty interesting, and I don't know how you would pull it off. One of y'all to wear a different hat and one of y'all to wear glasses and the other one not. And I mean, like, that would be pretty insane. Yes, there are 2 different gentlemen sitting with me on the video call right now, and they're not the same person.
And in different time zones too, so that's true. Yeah. It's not even the same time there. But his real question is, what's your favorite scary movie? Because it's October, we got to do that. So Caroline, why don't you go first? Give Justin some time to think.
I don't like horror, guys. I've said this on multiple podcasts, and there were things that turned me off to it as a kid. I just have really high anxiety, and I'm terrified of death. So anything that, is horror this day and age is kind of like, it's got to do with dead people, or it's got to do with some people dying, or extremely anxious circumstances are happening. And it's not the kind of genre for me, and it really, really messes with my psyche. So I don't do scary movies, but if I had to say, I really do enjoy the Catholic cult exorcism type movies.
Sure. Yeah.
Those don't bother me as much for some reason, because I don't know. I guess it's because it's based on a faith and grounding yourself in faith or not. So I think probably I like The Rite, which is a recent Anthony Hopkins movie, where it's about exorcisms in Italy, right outside of Rome. And then there's I guess you could say Silence of the Lambs and stuff. I really love Anthony Hopkins. Sir Anthony Hopkins is amazing. So his work as Hannibal is, I think it's sort of scary. There's a little bit of things in those movies that I can't exactly watch, like the disemboweling and knocking him over I can't do that. But I'd have to say Silence of the Lambs and stuff.
Okay. Wait, I have a question. Do you play Fire Emblem with permadeath on? I mean, that sounds like
no. Now, my husband is doing it, and he's doing it on maddening mode, and it takes him literally 90 minutes to clear a map. It's insane. So no, I love my children too much, and there's no way I could do that to them. I don't know how people do it.
I get it.
All right. I guess I'll go. I do enjoy horror movies, so for me, this doesn't really horror, but this is my favorite in that genre, even though it's more comedy. Shaun of the Dead, my absolute favorite one, hands down. It's a classic. But if you want to get more to the scarier ones, while not as scary per se, but it's more anxiety building, The Shining, I think, is a classic that I've loved always. Followed by, and this one's a little more campy, but it's because it came out during that right time in my age, Scream, the original Scream. I was high school. It was just that point there. Totally cheesy, totally lame now when you go back and watch it, but I thought it was really cool at the time, and that was my gateway into horror as a genre, so that made me dive more into other things. But those would probably be my faves.
So I've got maybe a controversial pick, and that's Alien.
Okay.
I think,
can't do it.
I think Alien is one of the best horror movies, one of the best sci-fi movies, and believe it or not, I'm pretty sure it was Christmas when they got that first call. They have a Christmas tree on the bridge, if I'm not mistaken. So it's all of these things all at once. It's one of my absolute favorite fall into winter movies to watch. Brooke and I, my wife, generally will sit and binge like until we fall asleep, and then we switch to the next movie. But we're big Alien fans, so big fan of that franchise. After that, in terms of like traditional horror-ish, I would say 28 Days Later. I think is one of the best zombie type films. Big fan also of. I saw it recently at the recommendation of Alton Brown. One Cut of the Dead.
Yes.
It's a Japanese movie, but oh my god, I just loved it. It's like a nerds movie. Big fan of that. And then it's not a movie, but I've been really into Gegege no Kitaro, which is a manga / anime.
Yeah.
That just recently is, for some reason, and I don't want to put this out there too loud, you don't even need a Crunchyroll account to watch it on Crunchyroll. And so
I love it.
And it's got good subtitles. Anyway, I was in love with yokai, and so I even like played Yokai Watch 1, but I just love the idea of yokai, so like Japanese goose and goblins and ghouls and stuff. And anyway, I read a bunch of books about them, and then I found this artist, Shigeru Mizuki, and he created this character who's like this graveyard kid with one eye. And I'm just not going to spoil the rest, but you can check it out on Crunchyroll right now, and it like doesn't scare you, but at the same time you're just like,
dude, there's been some crazy anime and manga that I've watched that has left me like that. Paranoia Agent was one of them. Oh my gosh, if you want to not sleep, watch Paranoia Agent before you go to bed, and you won't be able to. Yeah, 13-episode anime. I recommend it, but it's a little unnerving. I gotta ask you, are you gonna watch Demon Slayer? Have you watched Demon Slayer?
Me? No.
Yeah. No.
I'm very like selective. Like even on the Crunchyroll ads, I'm like, I shouldn't be here. You know, like you know what I mean? I just feel like I like to get about like neck deep in about every fandom, but I don't like to like be like submerged, you know? Yeah.
I'm big into anime and manga and all that fun stuff.
So we'll see. Maybe. You know, if you recommend it hard enough, I'll probably
I haven't watched Demon Slayer. I've heard a lot of good things. It's on our list to watch, but we have a million other things that we're chipping through right now.
Right? So hard.
It's right in that time season. So that wraps up the questions. So thank you, everybody, for sending those in. Now let's dive into a little more topics. We're not going to do news per se here, but I do want to talk about certain things since we have Justin here and Caroline, actually, because some of these will tie nicely into the Nintendo ecosphere. But first and foremost, Justin and I have to talk about this. And Caroline, you can fall asleep right now if you'd like. What's going on with Fortnite? Dude, so unless you're under a rock right now, Fortnite has essentially been deleted, I guess. We've seen Chapter 2 or whatever they're going to call it been leaked, but they trolled everybody, released the update for the new season. People downloaded it. All the kids rushed to it to download it. And then essentially it boots up and says, thank you for your support over the years. We really appreciate it. And there's an option to uninstall the game or quit, which then brings you to a black hole. And the black hole has been going on for over a day now, right? I believe it's still going on. Nothing's changed to my knowledge here.
It's all past 24 hours, yeah.
So you can't play it at all?
Nope.
Nah.
What?
They willingly have taken down the game, essentially. Now, it's
this
not
thing
going
that probably makes millions of dollars a day. Look, here it is right here.
What a
you can't see it, but
stunt.
that's the black hole.
That's all it is. It's a video of a hole.
So I'm aware of the hole. Unfortunately, like people have said, what if we just like immediately just at some point turns into a Smash ball? And I was like, at that point, I would probably never put Smash in my Switch again.
Jonesy confirmed for Smash. You heard it here first.
Right.
Well, I mean, Kevin and I kind of shared the same sentiments on this. If you haven't been a long-standing franchise that has had a presence with Nintendo, why are you in Smash? You know, stuff like that. So Kevin was kind of what the heck on the Joker being in there. The Joker, excuse me, Joker from
Persona. Not the Joker.
So yeah, I just if that happens, I'm gonna have to. I'm still the same. I feel the same way about Steve from Minecraft and Doom Guy. I just don't get it.
I just can't believe they're willingly giving up, like Justin said, like millions of dollars a day people spend on this game. Like this is a money printing machine, and they're willingly saying, "No, we're good for right now," because they know the second they drop whatever's next, people are gonna go back, and I'm gonna have to fight myself to not go back again. Like I'm firmly haven't played it in a while. I've been stuck in Apex land, and I'm trying to split my time so I play other things. but I guarantee you it's gonna get me to download it, and I'm gonna end up jumping back into Fortnite, and it's gonna make me angry because they're gonna do it to me again.
Yeah. I mean, Godspeed.
They did it, you know what I mean? And I don't know, the fact that people are even like, we're considering the end of Fortnite as though it's like the end of times.
Right.
Like, I can't think. I don't know. This is a terrible analogy. This movie has been advertised over and over and over, and I've been on so many planes where it's like the top hit on the plane. But it's like, and this is going to be a very controversial statement, but it's like, what if the Beatles didn't exist? You know what I mean? Like,
you get movie like Yesterday.
Yeah, that's how we're like treating what if there is no more Fortnite.
Yeah,
so this is like the New York Times. Like, New York Times is covering this.
Yes.
What the hell? You know, like, so the question is, sure, it cost them millions of dollars a day. It didn't cost them that. They simply didn't make it.
They lost it, yeah.
The next thing is, how much do you think they would have to pay the New York Times plus every publication has reported on this? It's the best PR ever, you know? And now people think, oh my goodness, chapter 2, wow, a new map, I'm sure new mechanics. And, you know, they've also, let's be honest, man, they've had plenty of time to figure out what they're doing. And there's still so many people playing the game. And to be honest, like, I was gone for a month, couldn't play. Just jumped in to, you know, for a couple matches before the event. And I was like, man, this map is super crowded.
Yeah.
Like, with stuff. But like, other than that, same damn game. Like, I never was involved with like any of the metas that like, oh my god, they eliminated double pump. The game's not fun. Like,
I never get it. Grab whatever gun you can find. All right, this one looks good. Let's go. Yeah.
I don't play that game to win. Like, I play for like, it's basically like an interactive group chat. Like, that's all I do with that game. And I think that's what a lot of the people that play that game that aren't like, you know, 14 use it for.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you and I played, and we built the giant ramp and did the shopping cart down the ramp thing just to launch ourselves for the hell of it. Like, we weren't even, like, didn't matter if anybody came by. We're just like, whatever, we're doing this instead. Forget you guys. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Anyway, you know, to me, it's just like a fun little sandbox that you often have to restart over and over again within the
often.
2.5. But anyway, listen, whatever they're doing, I think it's great. I think it actually is cool that they were able to do this live event, which I don't know of any other games that do like in-game live events.
Yeah, it's rare. Yeah.
So that's cool. And then secondly, like, I mean, Pokemon Go. That's like, you know, when it's community day.
True. Yeah.
I think that's just so remarkable. And I think that also, like, love or hate Fortnite, they know how to bring their community together. They like when they see their community withering, they know how to bring people back fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I play a lot of big games, and I don't see that so much. Like, love me some Overwatch, you know, but it's tough, you know. They have to. I mean, for God's sake, they had to introduce 222, and I think that breathes some new life into it. But then, even so, people just complain and complain.
Yeah,
that's a long story, man. You know how I feel about video game complainers.
Yep. I gotta wonder, like, how long does this go on? Like, what's it doing to Ninja? Because all he plays is like Fortnite. So, like, is he not able to stream? I didn't look today to see what he was streaming. But
He posted last night. He said, if I get 250,000 likes on this one tweet, I'll give you a clue about the next chapter.
Oh, yeah, because he knows, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question though. The conspiracy is that on Saturday he was like, guys, I'm taking the next 2 days off to take my family to.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like the football game. And so everybody's like, oh, he knew. And, like, I don't know. Having met and spoken with Ninja, like, I can't claim to know him any better than anybody else. So, like, he was at Comic-Con while I was at Comic-Con, and was like, hey, dude, like, let me know if you want to get something to eat. It's like, I'm completely slammed. Like, they have me moving on to the next thing. But, like, thanks for reaching out, my dude. And, like, sure, he's making boatloads of money, but Ninja's not the kind of dude who would just, like, you know, conspiracy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he just happened to take 2 days off, and it happened that, holy moly, it looks like Fortnite's going to be down for 2 days, if not.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows, right? So.
Yeah.
He's got a life too. Everybody. So next topic, New York Comic Con. So you talked a little bit about it already. So, like, we won't cover the Spider-Man and the Avengers thing because you brought that up at the top. But, dude, you cooked live with DMC.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I was not expecting that guess. I was wondering what you were going to be doing, and then I saw you tweet it out. I'm like, holy crap, that is awesome. What was that like? I mean, you've done a couple live ones anyway at San Diego Comic-Con in the past, but this one seemed to be pretty cool, and I think you might be able to speak to it better, but for me, looking at it from the outside, this one seemed to be a little bit bigger, on a bigger level, this specific one. So what was that like?
I mean, when I found out DMC was going to be there and be the guest, you're just like, well, damn, okay, let's make it good. Make it good, and let's make it good. And let's also make it good. So, like, I don't know what to say. Like, obviously, I had, like, fanboy reaction, and, like, being able to hang out with somebody that is so crucially important to a city that has been so crucially important to my life.
Yep.
And then also the segue between, like, that and the Marvel Universe, like, it was just, like, a great New York-a-thon, and, like, New York definitely kicked my ass, but, like, New York has also been one of the most influential cities in my life.
Sure.
So, I mean, hey, no pressure, guys, Anyway, and it's live, like, in front of thousands of people,
right.
So, dude, you just do it, man. I don't know. I guess that's like the gift. That's, like, why I'm doing what I'm doing, is because it's, once I get out there and turn it on, I just don't think about it. Oftentimes, like, when I get done, I'm like, guys, how did we do? And they're like, are you kidding? And I'm like, no, I'm truly asking, because, like, my TiVo was off. Like, I'm simply, the tape inside of me is going, and then the magnetic strip that is here is reading the information and broadcasting it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what's on the tape. Like.
Yeah.
How tall is he? He's super tall.
He was definitely. I think he could have put his elbow on my head. I mean, he was.
Man.
I can't put my elbow on really. I mean, maybe a child's head.
Yeah. Still, that's amazing.
So with Eat the Universe, you obviously had a big year with that. Like, every week you've had an episode come out this year, which is awesome to see. My 4-year-old particularly loves it. She always says, I want to watch a superhero cooking show. She has no idea most of the time what you're making, except for, like, the Thanos cookie glove that you did, the gauntlet. Like, she loved that. So certain things she identifies with, and certain ones she just doesn't. She just waits and sees, the jokes, and she laughs even though they're over her head. But, it is what it is. You may or may not be able to say anything, so by all means, no pressure here. Should we expect more Eat the Universe in the future? I know, like, you got renewed for a year this year, but are we looking at 2020 at all yet?
I mean, we've definitely discussed it. I don't know whether I'm allowed to comment or not.
Sure.
But, like, me, like, I'm not going to quit something unless I have to.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to say no. If the offer's there, Justin's not going to say no. But.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to let this, like, I'm not going to be like the Tom Holland of my own negotiation stall. Let's just say that.
Oh, man. Gauntlet dropped.
Oh, man.
No, I actually don't, I am not too concerned.
Wow.
Yeah, and listen, man, here's the thing. Everything, and, like, you realize this, like, once you work in this business, like, everything has a shelf life. Mm-hmm. Everything eventually will end. The second you get a green light for something is the second you realize eventually there will be a red light for something. And, like, if you don't realize that early on in this business, like, you're just going to end up being, like, miserably depressed and think of yourself as a failure. Sure. The question is, can you get green light after green light, and can you get another green light after you've gotten a red light? Like, there have just been so many people, that have, like, oh, man, I did this one show and it was great, and then it stopped, and then, like,
No, it's true. And I mean, we talked last year. So 2018, at the end of 2018, we were talking, I think it was like the San Diego recap of Comic-Con last year that we did. We were talking, and you were like, I think next year is going to be a big year for me, meaning 2019. And it really has for you, which is awesome to see. Like, between Food Network stuff, the Warner Bago experiences, like, just seeing everything you've done, it's been a good year. And like you said, as long as those lights are green, you're going to keep going with it. So kudos to you for that.
I mean, not bragging, but, like, I think I cracked the, like, millennial home ownership thing by, like, getting the RV. Somehow I got busier than I've ever been. And then we, like, were living dirt cheap. So then suddenly I, like, ended up with, like, a sum of money that was, like, not ridiculous by any means. Like, I do fine, but also, like, I'm a man of leisure, like.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not driving Uber in between my various gigs. I could be doing that and I could be maximizing, but, like, I don't have any kids, right? So, I'm just going to, like, continue collecting junk and whatnot, and lounging when I don't have to work. Anyway, my point is that like we were able to like get enough money together to make a down payment on a house, and I have a house. Like, cool.
Yeah.
It's in South Dakota, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, it's been a really wild year, and I found that pinball machine for $500. Like, get out.
Insane.
Right?
Only in South Dakota you'll find it. You can't find that around here. That's for damn
not
sure.
having children is that you can buy whatever you want.
Oh, dude, Japan, man, going to Japan with no kids.
I know. Dude, me and my husband were talking about doing it next year when Super Mario World opens, like the Nintendo World, and during the Olympics. Like, that would be amazing. But jobs and stuff, you know.
You just got to win Food Network Star and get some endorsements from Marvel and Ninja, you know, Foodie.
I should also probably brush up on my Japanese a little bit.
You know, I don't know, man. To be honest with you, like, I don't know a ton, and I was never, ever, like, oh, damn, this thing is inaccessible because of the language barrier. Not once. And I want a lot of things, trust me. And, like, yeah, it just never happened, man. I was able to track down a toy that I was looking for from that Caro show. But, like, I found these, like, vinyls, these little vinyl figures from the reboot show, and I was like, oh, my God, like, gotta have them. But, like, gotta have them all, right? Like, if I have, like, one of the series of 6, like, neat, but I made the mistake buying, like, 4. And I was like, gotta get the last 2. Yeah. Anyway, so, like, I was, like, trying to track it down within the store, couldn't find it within the store, then they're like, boop, 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 hey, it's at this store down there. I'm like, I don't know where that store is. And they, like, open my Google Maps, drop a pin on it, and they're like, go to this.
Awesome. Oh, my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like, the hospitality of the Japanese is, like, second to none. I had a cab driver download a translator app on his phone. I watched him do it simply so that he could converse with us out of, like, politeness.
Aww,
wow.
That's amazing.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, we give 5 stars to Uber drivers who don't talk to us at all.
Yeah, even worse.
Yep.
What are we gonna do?
Oh, awesome. So, speaking of Japanese things, Pokemon.
Yeah, dude.
This I know is near and dear to you and the Mrs. Heart, actually. You both are appreciative of the Pokemon thing. So, are you excited for Sword and Shield? I know they had that crazy troll stream where they just released the new Ponyta. Which is very cute. I will give it that. It is very cute. But is the Pokemon hype meter raising up for you at all, or you gonna let this one slide by?
Okay, for me, I'm always hyped about anything. That being said, you know, we're cruising around like 800 plus Pokemon now. Like, that's a lot of stuff for me to remember. Like, I'm like older, and so. You know, even now, like, so I started, and this is like, I knew about like red and blue, and then eventually yellow. I got a little lost in between, like, you know, crystal, emerald, sapphire, you know, gold nugget, whatever, heart, emotion, you know. But then when Sun and Moon came out, I was like, whoa, like I'm jumping in. I like this. And mostly it was that, you know, they moved into like 3D renderings instead of like sprite-based stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, this is a real step forward, and this is like a real reinvention of the series for me. So I dove into that, and by that time, you know, we were already in the like 600s of Mons, and I had lost my mind. Like, then going back, trying to get all these legendaries and like port the games. I would go to like GameStop and buy a used version of like Heart Gold and like transfer like 5 systems. You know?
Yeah, you had to. Yeah.
And so I was like super pumped about that game. I did not finish. What was the last one? The Alola region.
Ultra.
What was it called? That was Sun and Moon. I'm sorry. X and Y. X and Y was where I started.
Gotcha.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So X and Y, the first of the like 3DS games.
Yeah.
So that's
what got me back into it after
Me
years.
Too. Yep.
And I think that's the same for a lot of people. So X and Y. I did not beat Sun and Moon. I did beat Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. But yeah, man, I'm pumped for this. I'm pumped for it to be on Switch. I'm pumped to play it on my TV. I'm pumped for the graphics to be like epic. You know, Surfetched. Okay, sign me up. We also
that one's badass.
We have Sobble, emo starter. Like,
yes,
what
I'm getting Sobble too. Precious child.
I'm nothing if not an emo water type. When it all.
I can't not protect that baby. He needs to be absolutely protected.
All right.
Yeah.
What's
Kevin, I've got both are on pre-order for me.
Oh, I know you're getting it. I'm still on the fence. I like Justin too, and you even said it though too. The X and Y is what got me back into it, and I did enjoy X and Y. I skipped on Sun and Moon a little bit, but they might have me on this one. The hype is kind of getting to me a little bit. It won't be a day one purchase, that's for sure. I'm too busy. I have too much going on between the other consoles. But I am intrigued here.
I'll throw this out. I'm going to mention it on Nintendo Shack this week, but they came out with how much data it is.
Yeah. 10.5
something gigabytes, and for reference, like I think Sun and Moon was like 3. Yeah. And then Breath of the Wild is like 14. So it's not far off from Breath of the Wild.
It's crazy.
Kind of amazing.
Did you guys play Let's Go? Obviously, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So like, I'm curious to see what the like segue, there's X and Y, and then there's Let's Go, right? Like very traditional, very like non-traditional. Mm-hmm. And then in between those two, it's like Pokemon Go, right? Like there's a lot of Pokemon Go elements are in the Let's Go. And so now I'm curious to see like where this is going to like fall in between it, because I enjoyed the heck out of Let's Go. Like I didn't beat, but like we played a ton of it, and it was like just like a good grab everything sort of game. Like I look at that and like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It's like I'm not here for the substance. Like I'm here for the chucking balls. You know, like, chaining in that felt like I don't know, chaining in like the 3DS games to like try and get a shiny is like. I mean, it's the most nerve-wracking thing of all, right?
Right.
But something about like getting the random encounters with the mons that you could actually see, and avoiding the other ones. Yeah. It just felt really good. I don't know. Yeah. I liked it.
Yep. I like it too. I'm all about that shiny chaining, man.
You're a unique one for sure.
I know.
So moving on to the weird stuff, because Justin and I like the weird stuff, and Caroline to an extent, although you didn't build them all with the Labo stuff.
I've got to buy them all still.
Oh, you still have to build what you have. You didn't even do the piano yet, have you?
I haven't finished the piano, and I haven't finished something else. I forget.
Amateur.
I just hacked my piano. That's like I put the piano into storage and kept it in a cardboard box.
Nice.
Oh, man.
For a year, and I reproduced the piano, and I'm so pumped to have the piano.
Dude, that's nuts. But Ring Fit Adventures is the new weird one Nintendo's coming out with.
Absolutely. Who needs Peloton? That's where I'm at.
All right, that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, are you in on this? Because it's weird enough to be like, I'm weirdly intrigued by this. I'm like, all right, this is just weird enough. This is very Nintendo. This is something that only they would do. Nobody else would even attempt to do something like this. But it's getting some buzz. I've seen some reviews. CNN published an article where somebody got their hands on with it, and they're saying it's actually really good, and it is a legitimate workout. So is this something both of you are interested in?
Anything is a legitimate workout for me, because I mean, like, seriously, I did Michael Jackson The Experience, and you want to talk about a man that did all this calorie burning while he was dancing. It's unbelievable. I've heard the RPG part is actually quite good.
Right.
But I'm very...
you don't like to sweat. You've confessed
I
that
hate
numerous
sweating.
times. So.
It's so awful. I hate sweating. So even Wii Sports kind of just like took it out of me after a while, so I could only play Wii Sports sparingly. We'll see. I might
get that
pick
Wii
this
arm
up.
going again. Remember that?
The bowling, man, and oh my gosh. We'll see. I'll probably pick it up eventually, but I'm in no mood to sweat anytime soon, especially when it's getting cold out.
I would drink a pot of coffee and play Wii tennis every hour for the rest of my life. Okay. I used to get up in the morning, drink a gallon of orange juice. It was probably actually Sunny D, and jump on my borrowed power pad to try and beat Bear at world-class track meet.
Oh my God.
I absolutely used to use the Wii Fitboard. You want a core workout? Try lugeing. You want to try lugeing against me? No, that's a real workout. I used to have the pedometer. Pretty sure I climbed Mount Fuji. I used to use once the Wii had the extra thing for resorts, I played a Kempo sword game.
Yes.
Resort was good stuff.
Yeah, I'd play that thing until I was blue in the face. You're damn straight I'm getting this thing. And you're damn straight I'm going to do it, and I'm going to sweat my face off. Like, I might not do it for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? But I don't know. If you can get me to be, especially in South Dakota winter, if you can get me to be more active, then you're guaranteed I'm going to get it. And I think that the ring is like, I don't know. I've always been a fan of like dynamic tension exercises.
Yeah, it looks like it's really quite well made.
Yeah. So sign me up. I mean, I don't know, like $80, right? It's a game, it's a thing, it's a piece of history. That's like 1.5 months of a gym membership.
That's true.
If I can get 1.5 months of use out of it, and I'm not saying even daily, because let's be honest, you have a 1.5 months gym membership, you go 3 times, you're like, yeah, killing it, But so if I use it more than 4 times, at least I own like a piece of Nintendo history. And for me, like, think about how many of these things are like now like coveted, or you see them and you're like, wow. Right? Like if you saw a power pad that was like unblemished or like new in box, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, let alone like the original like Nintendo toys pre-Nintendo, like the billion barrel or whatever it was, and, like tester or that like gotcha arm looking thing, robot arm. They were all I only know about them from Smash Brothers as like prizes, Yep. But like any of that stuff to me is amazing. Like I have a Super Scope still in the box. I just completed a Rob,
That's
like
amazing.
an original ROB. And like
I got my Rob too.
And like that stuff's amazing. So you're damn right I'm gonna own that and the cardboard piano.
Yeah.
I have a Famicom Rob block set in the box.
Really?
Japanese version.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll show
jealous.
you what I'm done. It's $80. So it's worth it.
So a couple last little quick hits here to wrap up the show because we're going just about a little long here. Overwatch on Switch. So Justin, you're a fan of Overwatch.
Yeah.
Are you going to double down on Switch? Because for me, I'm a little concerned with. I have faith in Blizzard, but I'm a little concerned with how things perform on Switch when it's been on other platforms. Historically, we haven't gotten great results from things being ported over or transferred over. You look at Fortnite, they took out the crossplay out again for because it just couldn't compete with the PS4, Xbox ones, and PC, of course. Are you in on Overwatch again?
Yeah, it's it's just because like I want to be able to play everything all the time. You know what I mean? If I could strap on a visor and play every game that I've ever played, and that thing cost me $300,000, like get a second mortgage. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to be able to play anything all the time, and that's the thing about the Switch is like, I can take it wherever, and I can feel good about it. And that being said, like, man, I don't know if there are gyro controls on PS4. I think there could be, but I've never seen them enabled in anything.
There are, yeah.
Right, and so like for me, like sniping with the gyro, especially in like Fortnite or like in Splatoon, using the gyro controls, anybody who's not doing that, in my opinion, is like, okay, like have fun. I know that my ability to move my body to make something work is far better than my ability to move my thumb to make something work on basically an XY axis. Anyway, moving on. So I think that's probably actually going to be, in terms of control, one of the best console experiences. I do get what you're saying about like graphically and about whatever, but if there's no crossplay and you're only playing against other Nintendo Switch people, like let's eat us up some noobs. Let's make it.
You're all suffering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, can't wait. And think about it, no aiming Winston on that. That's gonna be so much fun.
Oh, that'd be crazy. So, Caroline, you're not against this. I want to say that's the wrong word. You're not in on this, but I want to call you out a little bit because you keep referencing on Nintendo Shack, I think the last 2 episodes, stating you don't want to dive into another MMO. Now, yes, this is an MMO, but this isn't typically what you think of. This is very different from WoW. This is a.
I'm aware it's a battle arena. It's a MOBA pretty much. So I've watched Overwatch play, and when I was originally considering it when it launched, I was looking for more of a TF2 replacement, and this is less TF2 and more along the line of what Paladins has, done. So a lot of my friends have asked me to play Overwatch, and it's just stuff that I don't think I can get into this late in the game. Not to mention, I've talked about how terrible I am now with my dizziness and first party extremely like crazy action games. Like even Minecraft makes me sick to an extent now. So I just I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it.
Okay, fair enough. I'm still hesitant. So I have Overwatch. I have it on PS4. I'm not great at it, which is weird because I'm confident enough to say I'm actually getting good at Apex, where I'm like I'm comfortable. I can get a win or two a night now at this point, so I'm down with that. I've never been great at Overwatch, so I don't know if I'm just playing wrong. I need to spend some time with Kyle to teach me a little bit better, but I don't know. But like Justin's saying, if everyone's suffering from the same setbacks that the Switch might have, which we don't even know, they may not, then it's even playing ground. It might be a good chance to jump in then and not be behind the 8 ball as you're talking about too, because if we're really closed off from everybody else, you're not really necessarily at a disadvantage per se.
Yeah, I don't know, man. One thing that I love about Overwatch is I feel like there's a character for everybody. And
Right.
I mean, they have really, and this is like where like, everybody hates on Blizzard because they did one dumb thing, but at the same time, like they've made that game pretty much accessible to anybody.
Yeah,
like you
sure.
can have it in so many different modes and configurations and subtitles and audio cues and visual cues and yada yada. And then even so, like Reinhardt, for example, and I'm not saying like he's the only character you can play, but for the majority of Reinhardt's life, he's living in this like third person view, right?
Mhm.
Like he's holding the shield and you're behind him and you can see his whole body. So like if you don't love, and he's also a character that's not going to be like jumping around 360 no-scoping people with his hammer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you're not into like that, quick scoping action, this could be something that you could do. Me, I have piss poor aim. Me, good with Winston, and like I'm horrible. I'll chase people down till I have 1 HP, jump away, use a shield. Please enjoy the day. Like I'm horrible with like snipe characters, any sort of line of sight thing. But yet they've made a character that for me is just about timing, and like I mean, timing's my job, right? Like I will know like, oh, that egg's done. I don't have to look at it. I don't have to smell it. I just know by time something is done. I work in time all the time. So that's all he is, man. And like I love that character. I love Orisa. I mean, there's just a character for everybody. I love that game simply because I don't know, it's fleshed out, and I just think it's great.
Cool.
I just love it.
So next one might be a little controversial. So as you said, you might have made a couple controversial statements before you said them. So I'm about to say one here. Spider-Man, the MCU controversy here with the whole he's not in, he's in, he's not in, he's in. Sony and Disney not playing nice. They're playing nice for now for what, one Spider-Man movie and one appearance in another movie, and that's it. Are we comfortable here, Justin? Or we think this is a good thing, or is this going to be just a delayed screw up later on? Because the way Far From Home, you've seen it, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. The way that ended, they're clearly setting up something. And when they said, "Oh, Sony we can't use Spider-Man anymore," I'm like, well, you just set up the rest of the MCU to follow along behind Spider-Man. Now they still have that, but yet they only have one more chance to play with them, at least for now, unless something happens. Like, I don't know. What are they gonna do? What do you think?
Marvel's got Peter Parker. Epic's got a black hole. Like, listen, man. Like, we can speculate all we want, but like, the more we speculate and the more we like click the thing that says, "OMG, something might happen," the more publicity that we're like ultimately giving them, right? And I that's like, I'm a fan, so obviously I want to help them and I want my fan dreams to come true. But at the same time, like, we don't know. We could be getting played. Like, for all we know, like, none of this actually happened. It was Mysterio, like,
true. Yeah.
I don't know, like, sure, there's going to be like public stuff about, the trading of IPs and that sort of thing. But if it can be so clear that he's out, 2 months ago, and now so clear that he's in, but only for this amount of time, Tom Holland brokered the deal himself, like, who knows? I've ranted many times about how I feel about like fans complaining, and I'm just like, man, for me, I'm just gonna go watch the movie if it's good, and if it's not good, then okay. Like, if they can't get him in the universe anymore, like, it's not the end of my universe. Like, I'm gonna be okay. We're all gonna be okay.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna
spoiler alert. And before they signed Tobey Maguire to be Spider-Man, and Tom Holland's just not out, and that's what they mean by he can only be in. So they're bringing Tobey back.
It's a multiverse.
There's a multiverse, perfectly fine by me. Bring Garfield in too, Bring
them all in the same movie.
Japanese Spider-Man in. It's fine, man. Animated Spider-Man, whatever, Doppelganger, all the Spider people. Spider-Ham, I love him.
Spider-Ham.
Spider-Gwen.
The Ghost Spider. All right. So last question, really, kind of to wrap things up here. Games you're most looking forward to for the rest of the year, this year. So Caroline, we'll have you go first to give Justin some time to ponder here.
Well, obviously Pokemon. I am excited about the Doraemon Story of Seasons game that I'm getting. That's in the mail right now, coming from Singapore. That hopefully will tie me over until Rune Factory 4's remake comes out in January. I'm just biding my time until Animal Crossing in March.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, it's just once Pokemon comes out, I'm literally going to be twiddling my thumbs for 3 or 4 months.
Okay. All right. So for me, I'm my eyeballs are set in the Outer Worlds, which comes out in a couple weeks here, which I'm stoked for that more. Hopefully Fallout style action. Luigi's Mansion, my most anticipated Nintendo game of the year, comes out end of this month. So I'll be looking forward to that. Ring Fit Adventures, I think I'm in on that one, so that's gonna be on there too. But much like you, my sights are soundly set on March of next year for Animal Crossing. I cannot freaking wait for that game. Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Oh man, I hate to like repeat stuff, but like, what is everybody else doing? Because all like on my horizon, it's like Ring Fit for like the lulls, but also like Luigi's Mansion, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like definitely, but like I don't even know. Nothing out there is like grabbing me as like a holiday must-have. You know, like correct me if I'm wrong, but like Red Dead came out right about now last year.
Yeah,
it did.
And that was like a huge splash. You know, to be honest, what I'm most excited about is like not like having to work my brains out in like the middle of winter and just like sitting and playing my games that I have. I know that sounds crazy.
Backlog. Yep.
Yeah, I want to work in the backlog, and like I've actually amassed a pretty good collection of like retro games. I don't even like that term retro games. They're just old games, you know, old games. I want to like experience again and kind of dabble with. And like I don't know. I'm really like actually there's been so much hate on Mario Kart Phone, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Mario Kart Tour.
Yeah, Mario Kart Tour.
Yeah, I actually like that thing, and like it's a great way to like waste 30 seconds, like if you'd have nothing else to do. I'm excited to see where that goes. Yeah, sure, like microtransactions, but like no one's, I don't know, maybe I have like the like so much restraint or something. But, like,
self-control, yeah. You're an adult.
Yeah, I just simply don't buy things. Call me crazy. And then I just like play whatever, and I don't care if I win or lose. It's just a way to like waste time that feels fun and like puts me in that world. You know, I feel like it's nice to be dropped into the Mario world when you're like bored. So I like having that around, man. Other than that, man, shoot, when does Avengers come out? January, right?
Yes.
Yep. Or April or May? I don't know. I should know these things.
You should, but I'll look it up for you.
Thanks. Yeah, man. I don't know. Maybe I don't have enough intel. Is there anything else that I should be like super hyped about?
May 2020.
Oh,
so
May.
We got a while for Avengers. Yeah, I don't know if that changed or not, but yeah. May.
I mean, it's really kind of, there's nothing except Pokemon that's really a main game release for Q4. I'm just trying to think. There's really nothing else.
Yeah, it seems like all the console makers except for Nintendo are focused on next gen, wrapping up the couple things like Sony's Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding. Well, Death Stranding comes out this month, I think, so that's on Sony's ecosphere. But like a lot of the games are just multi-platform. You get your Call of Duty, you get your stuff like that. But it seems like everybody's set on next year, except for Nintendo. Let's print that money, let's keep it going.
Yep.
Well, anyway, I mean, what a good run for Nintendo. Like the Switch has just been so great. Like, God, the Wii U was so maligned, you know. And I think like now, you know what, 2 years into the Switch, like it's been 2 years, right? 2 years into the Switch.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years in March.
Almost 3.
Yeah. Oh well, this is great. And like, yeah, still got it, and you know, still keeping things fresh and exciting and weird. You know, like bravo Nintendo.
Yep.
Well done. All right, so that wraps up the show. So Caroline, where can people find you and connect with you outside of Nintendo Shack?
I am the NintenDame on Twitter, on Twitch, and that's pretty much else. No, I kind of fell by the wayside on my Instagram and my Facebook, so you know, it is what it is. But yeah, you can hit me up there. You can hit me up in the Discord. I've just kind of been keeping a low profile recently. I didn't even stream today, so
lazy.
I gotta get back into it.
How you gonna make that ninja money if you're taking days off?
I know.
You don't play Fortnite. You have no excuse. You can follow me, as you guys all know, at PSVG Kevin on Twitter. Head over to the website, psvg.blog, to find all the things we do here at the network and all the cool shows. And then, Justin, where can people find you and keep up with what you're up to?
I am Eat Fellow Humans pretty much across the board. I got some other things floating around, but if you hit me on the IG or Twitter, we can connect on wherever else you may need to find me.
And just a plug since he's not doing good.
Yeah, sorry, man. Got a book coming out this month. Me down.
I was gonna say.
Thanks.
Yes, next month, the Ultimate Ninja Foodie Pressure Cooker Cookbook. 125 recipes to air fry, pressure cook, slow cook, dehydrate, and broil for the multi-cooker that crisps by Justin Warner, coming out November 12th, 2019. Get on Amazon right now. If you pre-order it, it's $19.60. $19.60, that's it.
Wow. I didn't even know that's what it's called, so thanks to you.
Oh my God. Thanks, agent. I appreciate it.
Yeah, right. Also, Justin is appearing November 1st and 2nd at the Hangout Oyster Cook-Off in Alabama with the likes of Michael Simon and Artie Sakara. There's a bunch of people. This one's stacked this year.
It really is. It really is. Of course, I got to shout out, man, missing Carl Ruiz,
Yeah.
What a horrible thing. Carl Ruiz passed away. If you guys watch Grocery Games, I'm sure you know him. He's hard not to know, but he's not going to be there this year. So a little bit of a pall cast on the festivities. But that being said, we got plenty of other people that are going to try and keep it as lively as can be. Should be a blast. And man, if you like oysters, it's truly the place to be. And like white beaches, and it's warm, and it's totally not winter there. Come on down.
Here you go, Caroline. It's only a couple states over from you. Just top over.
It's one state over, but it's at least 6-hour drive from me.
So,
yeah.
2-day weekend. Make Brian take you.
I'm not an oyster girl. I can't even eat them cooked. I don't know.
There's beer.
Yeah, it's beer. You like that.
I do like that. It's good stuff.
Fair enough. And then also, of course, you can hit up Marvel's Eat the Universe on YouTube and all the other fun places to see that weekly in your YouTube thing. Subscribe to that. So thank you, Justin, for appearing yet again and slumming it with us.
Dude, thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me as part of the 200th episode. It's cool, man. Like, I don't know. I don't really, like, short of getting, like, achievements in Dragon Quest for doing the story, like, I don't really get to participate in milestones, So thank you guys. It really means a lot. Happy to be a small part of your bigger community.
Thank you. So, as always, we ask everybody that you never stop gaming. Hey there, Kevin is back with the official PSVG review of the Children of Morta. Let's start with the story here. The Bergson family has watched over Mount Morta for generations as the guardians of the mystical mountain. They now face their most dangerous trial as a family. Corruption has spread, morphing the once peaceful mountain into a violent and monster-infested nightmare. Experience what it means to be in a family of heroes, take part in their journey, their struggles, and their victories. Witness the love for each other unmatched by even the gods themselves. Fight through hordes of unfathomable beasts as you explore the darkest depths of this ever-changing mountain. Gorgeous and breathtaking procedurally generated dungeons guarantee a unique experience every time you leave the safety of the Bergson's house in pursuit of the truth behind the corruption. It was developed by Dead Mage Studios and published by 11-Bit Studios for PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and now available on the Nintendo Switch. So Children of Morta is an action RPG with a roguelite approach to character development, where you don't play as a single character, but a whole extraordinary family of heroes. Hack and slash through hordes of enemies in this procedurally generated dungeons, caves, and lands that leave the family of Bergsons with all their flaws and virtues against the forthcoming corruption. Gameplay-wise, it's a unique mix of action-adventure, RPG, roguelike, and hack and slash game. That is a mouthful, but let me explain here. So typically, I stray away from the roguelike game style. However, this one plays a lot differently. So the dungeons, yes, are procedurally generated each time you dive back into the caverns and take on your enemies, but what you gather, much like your roguelikes, carries on and you're able to level up and re-experience your character. But this game is designed a little bit different so that, yes, you're made to die, but that's how you get your story. The story elements in this game are all interwoven in the scenes when you go back to home after a failed run through a dungeon or cavern or whatever you want to call it in this game, that's where you get your story elements. That's where you see the characters in the family interact with each other. That's how you're introduced to new characters that you'll eventually be able to play as. So it's a very unique twist. It's more of a hack and slash dungeon crawler that has these roguelike elements in there, but it's really, really well done. So as we said, the gameplay wise, you run back and forth. It's procedurally generated, the dungeons. There is no permadeath, so no Fire Emblem crippling fear of losing somebody you like, and you can change the family members in between story dungeon runs. So as we said, the story takes place in a distant land, but copes with themes and emotions common to all of us: love and hope, longing and uncertainty, ultimately loss and sacrifice we're willing to make to save the ones we most care for. But basically, it's a story about a family of heroes standing against encroaching darkness, end of the world, post-apocalyptic. We're used to this type of thing, but it's a really cool and different, unique twist that the fact that you're playing as an entire family, not just one person. So imagine playing like The Legend of Zelda, but you get to be each character in the game running through your dungeons, and you see the story bits, and it's all interwoven with, mother and son, father and daughter, grandfather, grandmother, and all these different family dynamics are also interwoven into this game that most people see when they think of roguelike being, well, there's not much story, there's not much substance here, it's just a dungeon crawler, a loot and grab, upgrade my characters and go on. This one has unique, nice story built in there. As far as audio elements, the music is good in this game, but the voiceover is pretty good too as well. There's a narrator that narrates the scenes in between dungeon runs. I feel like it's pretty well done. Gives you a sense of what the family's going through and the stress that they're placed under with this task that they're basically challenged with as part of their life, caring for the mountain and taking care of the corruption that comes through here. So the different characters you get to play as are all unique and different. So you have characters from ranged attacks, magic spells, blocks, stuns, evasions are a big part of this game as well, and then the passive buffs you just get. It's all there for you to discover, unlock, and upgrade. You can choose eventually from 6 different family members, each with having different unique skill sets. The father, John, is a protective warrior with a sword and shield, think Link. The elder daughter, Linda, is an archer, Kevin. A quiet fighter equipped with deadly daggers. Lucy is a wizard, a lively and bold fire mage. Mark is a martial arts fighter, and Joey, who basically just smashes stuff with a giant sledgehammer, so that's fun. But each character is leveled up and geared up and made uniquely as you run through, so they all play entirely different, which makes for a great replay value, and also just allows you in between runs to switch characters and try something different. Like if you hit a point where you're like, wow, this is really tough, maybe martial arts isn't going to work, I need to be more ranged, then your next run you pick Lind and jump right in, and each character is upgraded and skilled up differently, independently. Their experience carries over individually, making the overall family more powerful as you upgrade everybody. The art style is a combination of hand-painted pixel art and frame-by-frame animations, with a really cool lighting techniques that make it kind of come alive. So it's almost like you're playing an 8-bit game of old, like it's an obscure, I guess, RPG where you kind of get an idea of what the character looks like, but it's not super detailed. But the lighting is really what makes this game atmospheric and dynamic, is just kind of how that changes and goes through. But overall, it's a beautiful looking game. Pixel art done well. As we know, I've said especially too that I get a little tired of the pixel art style, but in this one it was done deliberately with meaning, and it looks great in the overall scheme of things. So basically, I'd say from PSVG, this is a definite recommend. Sits very well reviewed over on Steam as well, but I think if you got some time and some effort, you want to try something just a little different, I think Children of Morta might be for you. So that's all from us this time. This is Kevin from PSVG. Have a great day.
This has been a PSVG production. Any music, sound effects, or the like is owned by their respective copyright holders. No infringement is intended. The views expressed in this production are those of the individual contributor and may not necessarily reflect PSVG. This production may not be repurposed, reused, or redistributed without the express written consent of PSVG. PSVG is powered by patrons at patreon.com/PSVG Become a patron to get special perks, including access to exclusive content.